This is Module 3, the No Paralysis Spend Analysis. So you've just been chosen to steer your company's financial ship. You're eager, excited, and ready to make waves. But as you're trying to pick up where the last person left off, you know one thing for sure: there's always room to save. But before you put an end to the office donuts and good coffee, you must get super granular with your data by performing a spend analysis. You'll probably find that the caffeine and pastries are not exactly tipping the scale anyway. You need to look at your expenditure as a whole and make decisions based on what you find. There are many benefits to carefully analyzing your spending. It helps you identify cost-saving opportunities, streamline operations, manage risks, improve supplier performance, and so on. So in this video, we break down the process in 7 simple steps. We then suggest 4 ways of using your data to save even more. Before you start gathering and analyzing, it's crucial to understand what information you're looking for. A spend analysis will help you answer questions like: what are we buying? How many are we buying? What are we paying for it? Who are we buying from? Who is doing the buying? On what terms are we buying? How often do we buy? When do we buy? Are we getting what we paid for? How does our spending compare with the year before? With these questions in mind, let's dig in. The first thing you need to do is pinpoint your information sources. In other words, identify where your spend data is located. Your company's departments or units might have different ways of capturing their spending and have it in more than one place. Look at things like purchasing cards, procurement or ERP software, accounts payable, and general ledgers. After you've found all the sources, it's time to gather the data in a central location. This part can be tricky since the information will likely be in different formats. If you're not using purchasing software, you will need to convert all the information into a uniform format. However, should you have a single spend data platform in place, this step should be simple. Next, you need to clean your data. This step involves finding and correcting errors in descriptions and transactions and ensuring that everything is standardized. The more consistent your data is, the more accurate your results will be and the more effective your ensuing decisions. If the cleaning task is too big, split the workload among several people. Make sure that everyone adheres to the same standards and guidelines. After your spend data has been polished, you want to group the data by suppliers. This will not only help you manage your suppliers better, but also show you exactly how many suppliers there are in your supply chain. Some suppliers might be part of the same parent company, in which case they count as a single supplier. This information will give you more purchasing power with those parent companies with multiple suppliers. You'll also be able to see exactly how much business you're conducting with each supplier and leverage this information in negotiations. The next step is to categorize your spending. You can choose to create your own spending categories or use standard ones that include things like utilities, rent, marketing, advertising, software, payroll, taxes, and so on. The important thing here is to identify which categories you're potentially overspending on. When you understand your spending, you can make more strategic changes and drive cost savings in targeted areas. Step 6 is all about analyzing your data. You need to compare the data with spending KPIs like savings, cost reduction, cost avoidance, and supplier performance. If there are no spending KPIs, it's a good idea to identify them to measure your future spending performance. This brings us up to step 7, repeat. A spend analysis is a good starting point for getting company spending under control. However, it's not a once-off deal. It's vital to do a spend analysis regularly to keep comparing your past and current performance. Now that you've done a spend analysis, we'll give you 4 ways of using your data to maximize cost savings. You can start by comparing your controlled and uncontrolled spending. Uncontrolled or maverick spending offers great savings opportunities. For example, your team might not buy from preferred vendors and thus lose out on cost savings. If this spending is approved by someone and these details are available, you know exactly who to take the issue to. In this way, you can utilize data to change spending behavior and re-establish compliance. Another way of looking at your data is determining what you spend on each supplier. It's advisable to implement the 80-20 rule. In other words, 80% of your spending should be funneled through 20% of your suppliers. When you know which suppliers you do the most business with, you know who your key partners are and thus who to target when renegotiating contract terms. But you can also look at spending by department. Once you see how each department spends, you'll be able to tell whether they are buying the same items from different suppliers or at different price points. You can save money by bulk ordering, supplier consolidation, and renegotiating contracts across different departments and levels. Interpreting your spend data also means taking a closer look at on-contract and off-contract spend. Spending needs to comply with contract agreements, and when it doesn't, you need to know why. Perhaps your team buys from non-preferred suppliers because the selected suppliers has quality or delivery issues. It could also be that the items they need are not available on contract. Whatever the reasons for off-contract spending, delving into these details allow you to address issues and ultimately save costs. Conducting a spend analysis and laying down the hard numbers is a fantastic opportunity to make an impression early on. It shows that you're serious about spend control and ultimately adding value to the business. In the next video, we talk about uncovering hidden purchasing costs. Catch you there.